Hi, my name is Mara McDermott. I'm reaching out to you from the state of Maine. I want to talk to you about the home and community based services that are going to be cut when our state loses their Medicaid funding next year. These funding cuts will come around the end of the year, around December 2026, after the midterm elections. Home and community based services are going to be cut because those are optional services. Those are services that provide supported living for persons with disabilities, things like intellectual disabilities and or autism, so the person can stay in a home setting. And it will also cut the day programs for persons with disabilities. I know this because these services are optional. And we're taking devastating cuts. Our state is, your state is, all of the states are. So let me explain a little bit. HCBS, or Home and Community Based Services, came into existence after the closing of an institution in our state called Pineland. Pineland was an institution similar to the other institutions of its time, where persons with disabilities were sent, sometimes at birth, sometimes in childhood, and they spent their entire lives there in the institution. It was originally designed to provide care for people and keep them safe. However, like most of the institutions of its time, it was a place where people were horribly abused. So home and community based services have evolved since that closing of Pineland. You have similar programs in your state. By Section 21 waiver or Section 29 waiver, it means that the client has waived their right to institutional care and instead are choosing to get their care in a home environment. It could be a home like this one. I was a supported living provider for a young woman with an intellectual disability when my daughter was really young. She lived here. This was her bedroom. In fact, I provided a lot of care for her. I bathed her, I changed her pull-up, I did her hair, I brushed her teeth, I washed her face. I provided her with a healthy diet that she could eat with her dietary needs. She became part of our family. She went with us on different activities. She was a fun person. She was a nice person. She was, as I said, largely nonverbal, but she did have some words and phrases. I was not able to have an outside job at the time because her needs were so great. I was given a stipend for this work. So I'm not sure that the people who are currently providing supported living for the over 6,000 people in the state of Maine who receive these home and community-based supports would continue doing it. If their stipend was cut, it's going to be cut, or if it completely disappears. So what happens to these people? The big, beautiful bill that passed on July 4th, Independence Day, was decided by that last vote, J.D. Vance, but also by all the Republicans. They pushed it through. J.D. Vance is an interesting person, but not in a good way, in a very dark way. In an article, Where Does J.D. Vance Get His Weird, Terrifying, Techno-Authoritarian Ideas by Gil Duran in the New Republic, published July 22nd, 2024. Vance's mentor, Curtis Yarvin, using a pseudonym, proposed a solution for taking care of the unproductive people. His solution? Turn them into biodiesel to run the buses. Yeah, really. You can see the article in the New Republic, July 22nd, 2024. I saw it on Yahoo. So Yarvin is Vance's mentor. Yarvin goes on to say that this solution may be intolerable for most people. So he came up with another idea. imprison them in permanent solitary confinement, where, to avoid making them insane, they would be connected to an immersive virtual reality interface so they could experience a rich, fulfilling life in a completely imaginary world. So, J.D. Vance, the vice president, and his friends, Stephen Miller, Russell Vought, and Trump himself, they are all really weird. They have some strange ideas. They are not typical Americans. They don't see the world as most people see the world, but they're in charge. We don't need to let that stay. We can change things. I'm looking at the FEMA money that was just released for the states. $608 million that's going, FEMA's giving out as grants for states to fund their own detention centers in each state. So we know these detention centers are actually concentration camps, and we know they're not just for immigrants. Although that's bad enough. What they're doing to immigrants is bad enough. But why don't we do this? Let's take back that $608 million. Let's disperse it evenly among the states and the territories. And let's provide support for Medicaid recipients so that we can continue to have our rural hospitals, so we can continue to have the home and community-based services. Let's provide help for the veterans. Let's provide our SNAP benefits. Let's get those back. And let's get our heating assistance. Let's use that almost $12 million per state for our needs. It is, after all, our money. So this administration is on its way out, right? It's on its way out. They're not doing very well. Trump is not doing very well. Let's face it. He's an obese 79-year-old man who never made sense even when he was healthy. He's not very healthy. He cheats at golf. He cheats at everything. Commander-in-chief. Yeah, he cheats at everything. But he's also not the one that's running things. Stephen Miller and Russell Vought are behind most of this and the Project 2025. So we need to push back. There's more of us in the United States than there are of them. So we need to push back. We need to regain that money. We need to get that $608 million. We need to disperse it for the states so they can meet the needs of their people. Enough of this. Just enough of this. And let's join organizations that are moving things and getting things done. Let's join Indivisible. Let's join Move On. Let's join Red, Wine, and Blue. Let's join 5051. Let's join your local organizations that are pushing for change, and let's regain our government for the people, by the people. Let's not let them do this to us. Please spread the word. Share this video and spread the word so that we can help. We need to prevent these tragedies from happening. It's been going on for too long. 6 months is enough of this administration. Let's put an end to it. Let's regain our money, just like we regained our education funds. Well, most of them. Let's push our senators and House of Representatives reps to get it done. We want our money back. FEMA is supposed to be the emergency management agency. They're supposed to help the people in Texas and the Carolinas. They're not supposed to build detention centers. If they're not using it for emergency management, then they're not serious about it. Let's use it. This is an emergency. Our lack of Medicaid funding, our lack of funding to the states is an emergency. Spread the word, please. Thank you.